Debbie in New York City. Hi, Debbie.
Hello.
What's going on?
So I had a question.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out whether I'm fooling myself. I do a lot of online transactions on my desktop at home, okay? But on my phone, I don't do anything that has banking or credit card information. So I don't have any of my accounts that I log into. I don't have Uber. I don't have Lyft. And I was wondering, am I just fooling myself that I'm more secure that way?
Is that your, Debbie, is that your main reason? Is that you think like your credit card, your personal data is more susceptible, more open on your phone than it is on your desktop?
Yeah, when I'm running around outside, I have a VPN. It has been a little iffy, so I'm looking around for another one because the one I had just made my phone not work well. So, yeah, I mean, I do text messages, I do phoning, I occasionally look something up on Gmail, but I do not do anything that is any kind of a financial transaction or log into accounts with, you know, login IDs.
Which is kind of tough, right?
It's not awful, but it's, you know, I suddenly thought, I got the thing about calling in today. I thought, well, I'll call in. Maybe I'm just fantasizing that I'm, you know, slightly safer by not running around outside with my, you know, information. Because at home I'm actually plugged into an Ethernet. I'm not running off even my own Wi-Fi.
Okay, well, number one, I'm glad that you're taking security so seriously because most people don't. It's only after the fact that they go, oh, wow, I probably should have had a firewall. You know, I probably should have not done that. You know, plugged into the internet on a desktop with all your updates, your security software, the firewall lockdown, you know that it's running, and you have two-factor authentication set up on all your accounts. That's pretty darn safe, okay? When we go to your cell phone, the cell phone connection is encrypted in and of itself. When you start getting onto Wi-Fi networks, and you know that's why if you're going to be running around the city, you want to make sure that you disable connect to Wi-Fi networks automatically because you want to make sure that that doesn't happen.
Right. They pop up all the time, and I just say no.
So, you know, you can turn that option off so you don't even see them.
Okay.
And so, you know, don't do that because then you never know what network or whose network or who may be sniffing what that they could steal from you. The cellular connection in and of itself is pretty locked down. It's pretty secure. Then when you start getting to doing Uber, those transactions are encrypted as well. The other thing you could do is, if you want to use Uber or Lyft, is that you get a one-time use or a limited use credit card number that it's only good for $25. It's only good for this month, this time period. If you're afraid that your credit card might get compromised, and I know you're only liable up to $50, but it does get to be a nightmare to change an account everywhere under the sun. Right. So it's you know, so for me, it's not the $50. It's the fact that now I got to change this account number everywhere that I've been going. And so I personally, I use Apple Pay. I think Apple Pay is more secure than my credit cards. The EMV chips, we know that they're not secure. What's coming down the pike now are actually credit cards that have a sensor embedded in it that you're going to put your fingerprint on to authenticate who you are. Because the hackers
that makes sense to me. Yeah.
You know, it actually does. A lot of people are worried about, though, since we're talking about security, because that fingerprint is going to be stored on the card.
Oh.
And so yes. That's...
You can't really win.
You know, that's why when I was talking about this earlier in the show, that you missed that part, obviously, is that, you know, until they can figure that out, I'm not using the card, okay?
Yeah.
You know, Apple Pay, it's stored on the phone, but some of it's also stored on Apple servers, and so they have to do this handshake. And also now it's tied with facial ID. And so without the facial ID, you can't make the purchase. You know, I wouldn't worry about using your phone out and about. I really wouldn't.
As long as I'm not Wi-Fi connecting.
Exactly. And you have your account set up for two-factor authentication, whatever accounts that you feel that you would be most susceptible to hacking, and especially if it's your bank account, your 401k, your Fidelity, your Morgan Stanley, you know, whatever it might be. Yeah. That you have all that stuff locked down. But you know, the convenience of being able to use your phone instead of carrying your wallet, I absolutely love using Apple Pay because of that. I can just hold.
Does Apple Pay work on Android phones?
Oh no, they have for that they have Samsung. If you have a Samsung Pay, or they have Android Pay. But it's under.
Okay.
It's basically the same premise. Is that
Okay.
you're going to hold the phone up to the card reader, or wherever you would swipe, or stick in the credit card. It does
Okay.
it. It uses near field communications and NFC signal to do the handshake. And
Got it.
then it puts the amount on the phone. You look at the phone with the amount, and you hit the button. You say yes, or sometimes you don't have to say yes. Depends. Like on Apple, you have to double click. Sometimes on Android, you have to click once, depending upon who it is. And then suddenly that transaction goes through. But then you're not walking around the city carrying a wallet full of credit cards anymore.
Yeah.
Which is pretty awesome. And you can also get the subway card on there too now, which is nice.
Okay.
So feel free. You can do it. I know you can, Debbie. You can do it.